From a restaurant that closed down for tax evasion to another whose owner was arrested for fraud and property damage, here's what happened to every restaurant from Season 2 of Kitchen Nightmares. Starting with the Handlebar, a restaurant and bar bought in 2007 by a husband and wife team, Billy and Carolyn Leroy, who hoped they could bring the place back to life after buying it.
When we came into the Handlebar, we saw that it had been run down, but Billy being so handy,
now they're on.
we saw the potential of having a great place.
But then, even before Gordon Ramsay came in 2008, the restaurant was already in big trouble.
The nightmare began when 70% of the money was coming from the bar and almost nothing was coming from the dining room. When you can't turn 18 tables on a Friday or a Saturday night, you're in a lot of trouble.
And to make everything worse, their head chef, Melissa, wasn't even a trained chef. This revelation about the chef shocked Gordon, and it was enough reason to know why they were not doing well.
I'm not a chef. I don't claim to be a chef. I don't want to be a chef. I'm not very creative. I think hiring me wasn't necessarily the best idea. I don't even know what I'm doing here. I don't intend for it to be my career.
Although Bill and Carolyn kept living in denial and acting like everything was fine with the way the chef handled the food and kitchen, there was one thing they couldn't ignore, which was the money problem that was already eating them down.
We took out an equity line of credit that's almost maxed out and drained our savings. If the Handlebar fails, we risk losing our house.
Bottom line.
If Chef Ramsay doesn't come here, our time is very limited. I definitely don't think it's another year.
When Chef Ramsay finally walked in, he could sense the tension right away. Observing that the owners were stressed, the staff were confused, and the kitchen looked nothing like a place built for success. And when he finally tasted their poorly cooked food, strange flavor combinations, and serious kitchen mistakes, he immediately knew something was really wrong with the place.
Just even...
That I've never done.
My God. Unbelievable. Oh.
That's it.
You were happy to serve frozen broccoli over fresh broccoli. I'm trying to open up your eyes, Billy, and explain to you, what the current situation is. When was the last time this fridge was cleaned?
A week ago.
Oh, come on. This hasn't been cleaned in years.
No, it hasn't.
No, it hasn't. Fucking believable. So that just proves and confirms how weak this guy is. He's not running this place is running him.
Despite the initial disappointment, Gordon helped them fix the restaurant by adjusting the way they ran the business, changing their menu, and teaching them proper cooking techniques, which made the reopening dinner turn out really well. And for a moment, things looked good for Handlebar's future.
Done. This place is going to be a success, I tell you. Great location, great food, great gastropub.
Everything seemed to improve after the show, which Gordon confirmed when he revisited them 1 year later. However, the Handlebar didn't last forever because it closed in 2009, just a little while after Gordon's revisit. The main reason was that owner Billy Leroy slipped back into his old habits of running the restaurant, which drove customers away and made it impossible for the business to survive. According to reports, the property was later sold in 2010 and reopened as Skybox Restaurant and Sports Lounge. Today, the old Handlebar site is a spot called Benchwarmers Tavern and Grill. But aside from closing down, things took a turn for the worse, as Billy Leroy also passed away in 2015 after battling cancer, which made a sympathetic fan react with the comment, "It's so depressing how the story ended with Handlebar." And just like the Handlebar, the next restaurant also faced a dreadful end that made fans question the excess of the kitchen nightmare. Giuseppi's was a small Italian restaurant owned by Joe Borgia and his wife Kathy, who had already retired, but they decided to open Giuseppi's so they could eventually pass it down to their son, Sam. But before Gordon Ramsay even arrived, there was a constant tension in the restaurant, as the family barely had any customers, and the father-son relationship had turned toxic from constant arguments.
You're serving frozen fucking salmon. I mean, no matter what you do, you can boil it in grease.
No.
It's still gonna be fucking...
I'll prove you wrong.
You don't have to be back there.
I'm not. They just are pushing me too many hours.
They're not pushing you, you're pushing you.
From their time in the Kitchen Nightmares show, it was obvious that Sam was the cool guy who was meant to follow instructions
I'm not supposed to have no input. I'm not supposed to be able to change anything. Usually I'm just supposed to basically be a shadow and somebody that he can just say it's your fault.
While Joe, his father, was far more stubborn and often allowed his frustration to take over. This left the business stuck in a cycle of low returns and a huge amount of stagnation that only Gordon's help could solve.
If anybody can help our family, it would probably be Chef Ramsay.
After watching the situation, viewers couldn't help but comment, Sam was not the problem here. It was Joe's distrust of Sam that was creating all of this hell to their family and business. And Sam is a gorgeous example of a nice man. It's a pity his dad beat him into the ground. So when Gordon Ramsay visited the restaurant in 2008, it didn't take long for him to see exactly what was wrong. He spotted their poor food service, the emotional pressure that was badly affecting Sam, and Joe's stubborn attitude.
I got told in the car, the pressures facing this place. But I can see why we're in this shit. The food's crap, guys.
From there, Gordon launched into a full overnight makeover by redecorating the restaurant, pushing the family to work together rather than against each other, and also created a new menu with simpler but tasty Italian dishes.
The condensed menu. It's fresher, it's quicker, it's smaller, and more importantly, it's 10 times more exciting. Okay, the chicken parmesan, look at that. It's a new way, modern, and something complete.
With all these set in place, the family shared a sweet and touching moment at the end of the episode, which helped them work smoothly. However, this didn't mean everything ended happily, because when Chef Ramsay came back to visit the restaurant, they were still having a hard time, even though they kept the changes he made.
Yeah.
Reservations every night. It was great. It was really good. Come January, we just tanked.
Yeah.
I mean, I have customers coming in and out all the time. You know, I'm sorry we miss you, but we're laid off. I have never seen the economy like this.
Kathy even shared some bad news about the worsening state of their home and finances.
It's gone. We lost the house. So we need to find a place to live. We have a few more weeks, and I need to find a place to go.
Kathy, Jesus Christ.
And at the end of his visit, Chef Gordon gave the restaurant a surprise by presenting a plaque of honor to them. However, Giuseppi's closed down in July 2009, a year after Gordon's visit, because of Michigan's economic downturn, and their struggle to secure a liquor license hurt the business badly. During an interview with Become Daily, Joe admitted it's a struggle to survive. Even franchise restaurants around us are down 30%. With weak weekday sales and rising pressure, Giuseppi's couldn't stay afloat and shut its doors for good, while Sam Borgia continued working as a chef. And in 2023, he became the head chef at a restaurant called Bar Verona in Romeo, Michigan. And for Joe and Kathy, they're still alive, but there's not much public information about their current lives. Just like how Giuseppe struggled due to financial difficulties, the next restaurant faced what viewers would have never imagined. Tribanos was an Italian restaurant run by 3 people, Anthony Tribiano and his girlfriend Tiffany's parents, Joe and Pat. But behind the scenes, the restaurant was already falling apart long before Gordon Ramsay showed up. Bills were piling up, customers were disappearing, and everyone was stressed to the limit, which started to damage Anthony and Tiffany's relationship.
Tiffany and I's relationship has been rocky. The stress that we've been through over the past 3 years has definitely proved to be the breaking point. If the restaurant were to fail, maybe we don't move on. Maybe that's the end of our road.
However, upon Gordon's arrival, he observed the problems and found out that they were mainly from Anthony because he had no prior experience working in a restaurant before opting to open one.
And have you trained in Italian restaurants?
No, I've not. I felt I knew everything. I still do.
Are you that arrogant?
Possibly.
I wouldn't open a fucking Italian restaurant without working in one.
So it was obvious that some serious problems were going on, and to get everything right, Ramsay forced big changes by redecorating the entire restaurant and helped the whole team create a smaller, fresher menu. Since everything was set in place, the relaunch went really well.
It's the relaunch dinner, and Tiffany has just delivered entrees to the editor-in-chief of Bon Appetit.
I haven't tasted the fish, Victoria. I think the fish and the chicken are really winners.
Thank you. It's not overcooked.
No, it was nicely cooked.
It's good.
And it kept getting better, especially after the surprising announcements about Anthony and Tiffany's wedding that same night. And just like that, the show ended on a hopeful note with a brighter future for the restaurant. But it didn't take long for Tribiano to run into trouble again which was confirmed by viewers when one of them commented, "The restaurant was seized by the states 6 months after for not paying taxes." Aside from the tax problems, Tribanos has also struggled with ongoing management issues, lingering reputational damage, and a highly competitive local restaurant scene. All these setbacks eventually forced the restaurant to close its doors for good in October 2008. But Anthony's still a chef in New York City, with Tiffany and the 3 kids added to the family. However, while Tribanos failed despite its passion, the Black Pearl showed no passion and still ended in an unexpected way. This was a seafood restaurant in New York City owned by 3 partners, David, Brian, and Greg. From the outside, the restaurant looked promising, but behind closed doors, it was drowning in debt and customer satisfaction had dropped. The biggest problem, however, was the owner's stubbornness, which blocked any real progress.
Greg is the hardest working owner, but he doesn't make a decision.
Who the fuck put these letters on here? I couldn't tell you.
The main problem with the Black Pearl is these guys are really stubborn.
So when Gordon Ramsay finally stepped inside, he immediately began pointing out everything that was going wrong, especially how bad their food tasted. Gordon even confronted the owners.
Is it hard running a business with 3 partners?
It's hard for us.
I don't feel that any of you are committed to making this work.
And after that, he said,
A restaurant run by 3 passionate owners, no chance. In a nutshell, sleepy, dopey, and grumpy.
But after several arguments with David on how things should run, Gordon was able to make some changes to help the restaurant get better by cleaning up the menu, reorganizing the whole restaurant, and getting the staff back on track, which the customers liked during the relaunch.
The lobster is really good. Nice and buttery.
You might have to do another waffle thing.
Yeah, I have about 4.
But the improvements didn't last, as the restaurant closed down just 4 days after the Kitchen Nightmares episode aired on TV. That means it only lasted for around 7 months after the actual visit from Gordon Ramsay. So when Gordon revisited, he found out that David's nasty attitude caused Black Pearl's shutdown, and a new restaurant called the Hog Pit moved into its old location.
Dave must have been the most arrogant restaurant owner I've ever met in my entire life. And guess what? He is no longer a restaurant owner. As I predicted, the Black Pearl is closed.
Of course, the signs were there with the way Black Pearl's owner behaved. Viewers knew that the Black Pearl would fail, which made some people happy. Although the owners of the Black Pearl caused their downfall, the next restaurant's efforts to succeed remained futile. J. Willy's Barbecue House was a struggling restaurant owned by John J. Willy William and a married couple, Rick and Tricia. They couldn't afford to hire a skilled chef, and because of their money problems, the food quality dropped so badly that everything coming out of the kitchen tasted awful. And over time, fewer people came to eat there.
The standards have declined so far that I'm not even sure we can revive.
But when Gordon Ramsay came in, he made the menu easier, redecorated the entire place, and brought in chefs to teach the workers so the food could get better.
Not 1, not 2, but 4 chefs. Scott, Kim, Michael.
Sides, your coleslaw looks.
On relaunch night, things looked better. Customers liked the new food, and there was some excitement about their signature barbecue sauce.
Barbecue chicken.
This is wonderful.
Good sauce, different.
Very good. Best ribs I've ever had.
Thank you.
After Kitchen Nightmares, J. Willy still held on to many of Gordon's changes for a while, and they even won a local rib cook-off competition for the best signature barbecue sauce. But that success didn't last, as the restaurant struggled again because of high food prices and a lack of customers, which led them to permanently close on February 4th, 2009, less than a year after the J. Willy's Kitchen Nightmares episode aired on TV, and almost a year after the visit from Gordon. As for the owners, Rick later left the restaurant business, switching to restoring and selling classic cars. But unlike J. Willy's, which failed despite trying really hard to maintain the restaurant, the next restaurant had one of the craziest endings in Kitchen Nightmares. Hannah and Mason's was a French-style bistro owned by 2 partners with contrasting personalities. While Chris was the hard-working one, Brian was the clear opposite and still not willing to make things work, which was even confirmed by the viewer who said, "Brian has the personality of a paperclip." Like every restaurant that was in need of Chef Ramsay's intervention, Hannah and Mason's also struggled financially.
We're having a very tough time making ends meet. It has been increasingly more and more stressful to come in and look at how much we owe money to and the bills are piling up, and it's a little too much stress for me.
And when Ramsey visited, he realized that their food was so tasteless, they cooked in a dirty kitchen, and more importantly, Brian's lazy attitude was deeply affecting the business. So on Valentine's Day service, he had to shut down the restaurant mid-shift in order to put things in order.
Everybody, right now, this is not a romantic eat-out. This is a Valentine fucking massacre. Switch it off!
For a start, Ramsey helped them set up a new system in the restaurant by cleaning up the messy kitchen and also changed the menu to include simpler, more American-style dishes.
We'll go through the menu. Previously, the menus, 2 menus before lunch and dinner, absolutely crazy. You've got no idea how simple this is.
At the relaunch, customers seemed to like the new food, and the restaurant was busier than it used to be.
It's been a tough week, and I personally feel that I've been dragging Nick, Brian, and Chris every inch of the way, and I don't know if they've got the desire to go that extra mile.
But even with these positive changes, Ramsey remained skeptical about their possible future, which came out to be true as not so long after filming, Chris and Brian drifted away from Ramsey's plan by returning to the previous menu and even changed the decor. According to Chris, the airing of the episode did not bring in more customers as he had hoped, and the worst thing about their terrible end was how they lost a bit of their catering business, which had been a big part of their income. By February 2010, less than 2 years after Ramsey's visit, Hannah and Mason's closed its doors for good. Today, the old location of Hannah and Mason's is now a law office. Unlike Hannah and Mason's, where one partner didn't really care, leading to their end, the 3 partners at Jack's Waterfront were ready to work hard and truly wanted to succeed, but their situation was working against them. Jack's Waterfront was owned by Tamer, Bill, and Scott, who were just bodybuilders and had little experience running a restaurant.
They had a reputation for bad food.
I don't think I'd order again.
And so that's really, in my opinion, that's what killed us.
On top of the bad food, they were stuck with an incompetent manager who was the elderly father of one of the owners, which turned out to be a terrible decision. Aside from that, they also had several financial problems.
It's just unfortunate that we have to take money from other avenues to try to make the place survive.
But when Chef Ramsey came, he gave the place a big makeover so it could do better, and also changed their menu.
This is the new menu. Yes?
Wow.
Yeah, and on the back of the menu, you can have some fun.
Because of this attractive makeover, customers showed up on the relaunch night despite a snowstorm.
The restaurant fills to capacity, and the kitchen faces a monumental test.
And by the end of the night, people seemed happier with the food and a new look. In the weeks that followed, AJ, the incompetent manager, was eventually fired, making space for a new general manager.
My dad is what I need for this place to survive, and he's gonna back us up on what we need to do, just like any father would.
But the changes were so swift that by December 2010, just over 2 years after the makeover, Jack's Waterfront closed permanently due to poor management and seasonal customer drops. After closure, it briefly reopened as Dockside Jack's in March 2011, but failed within a month. Then the location later became Brownies on the Lake in April 2024 and eventually rebranded again with no return of the original restaurant. But unlike the 3 bodybuilders who didn't know anything about running a restaurant, the next owner had a lot of experience, but his pride got him in big trouble. Sabatiello was an Italian restaurant owned by Sammy Settembre who was very rude and acted like he knew everything.
I make everybody feel like a superstar when they come to Sabatiello's because I'm a superstar, and that's why my name is on there. It's all about me.
On top of that, the restaurant was failing with no customers, and soon it was in a lot of debt.
I presently have over $1 million in debt to this restaurant online, and I cleaned out my savings. Everything rides on this place.
But then when Gordon Ramsay visited, he quickly saw that the restaurant's problem wasn't just the debt or bad food. It was Sammy's entitled attitude.
Are you asking me or telling me?
I'm telling you, I think maybe you woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I can't believe it. I honestly think you're out of your fucking mind. It ain't.
Because of Sammy's nasty attitude and terrible outcome, one viewer's description of him sums it all up, saying, "Sammy is the type of person in kindergarten to play tag, but doesn't want to play anymore when he gets tagged." However, on relaunch night, customers came in, and the kitchen struggled to keep up with multiple orders, resulting in arguments. but they somehow managed to deliver food that pleased the guests. For a moment, things looked hopeful.
I have to wait for a lunar eclipse before that guy seriously got the message. And who knows, sometimes miracles can happen.
But unfortunately, after the show, the turnaround was short-lived. Sabatiello was forced to close permanently on October 2008, around 6 months after Gordon Ramsay visited the restaurant. According to Sammy Settembre, there was inadequate compensation for days and the eatery had to stay closed. The restaurant even tried to stay afloat using Gordon's name as a promotional tactic, but it wasn't successful. After the restaurant shut, Sammy Settembre faced legal trouble when he was arrested for vandalizing his own building during eviction, and the damage was about $20,000. He was also accused of unauthorized use of credit cards, charging more than $20,000 on a customer's card. But after the whole scandal, Sammy tried opening another restaurant in December 2008 by opening Sabatiello Gourmet Pizza in Riverside, Connecticut, which also failed eventually. By the end of it all, he switched paths and started working as a chef at a New York gas station restaurant called the Appalachian Market. And just like Sammy, who defrauded his customers, the next restaurant followed the same route but ended up failing more miserably. Fiesta Sunrise was a Mexican restaurant run by Vic and Yolanda Flores. But the business wasn't actually built on their own money. Instead, it was started using the credit and life savings of Vic's stepdaughter, Patty.
100% owner on paper, but my stepfather, Vic, controls everything.
Most that bothers me is that my daughter has ruined her credit.
Because of this dangerous decision, Patty quickly found herself drowning in financial problems, which were hurting her marriage.
She has problems in her marriage. I just feel very guilty that I put Patty in this position.
This got many viewers furious and wondering why Yolanda ruined her daughter's life for someone who isn't even related to her. But when Ramsay visited, he was immediately shocked by how dirty and neglected the restaurant was, and confronted Yolanda and Vic about the financial mess they had created, especially since Patty was the one holding all the debt.
What I'm really concerned about is what's happening to your daughter.
My credit was messed up, so we used Patty for credit too.
She was clean.
Clean, yeah.
All that money from family. Why weren't you being more honest about where the money was going?
However, aside from the financial chaos, the restaurant's cleanliness wasn't any better as it was battling a cockroach infestation. Looking at this condition, Ramsay called in an exterminator and completely redesigned the restaurant, giving it a fresh look. During the relaunch night, many customers complimented the improved food and atmosphere, since it felt like a completely different restaurant from before.
This is excellent. It's very good.
The presentation is beautiful.
What do you think about the salsa?
I like this. It has a nice texture.
Thank you.
Sadly, despite the makeover, the professional guidance, and the hope the episode seemed to create, Fiesta Sunrise didn't survive much longer. The restaurant permanently closed in September 2008, only a few months after filming wrapped. To make matters worse, the restaurant was seized by the IRS because the owners couldn't pay their taxes. But then the family's problems didn't end there, because there were also rumors of a stabbing at the restaurant before its final closure, which cast a dark shadow over its reputation. Regarding the family, not much is clearly known. Patty appears to have stayed out of the public eye, and there's no strong confirmed story about Vic or Yolanda building another restaurant that lasted. Unlike Fiesta Sunrise, which ruined a family tie for business, Santa La Brea was the clear opposite, but it still didn't produce what the viewers expected. This family restaurant was owned by Dean Hamui and his two sons, Arthur and Sammy. From the very beginning, they had a really hard time running the restaurant as a family business, and they were also facing serious financial problems.
I'm not making money.
My father is in at least $200,000 debt.
I owe everybody. I owe the landlord, taxes, vendors, short on my mortgage.
They had tried everything they could think of to save the business, but nothing seemed to work. And by the time Chef Ramsay was called in, the family felt completely lost and desperately needed help. When Gordon Ramsay finally came to the restaurant,
one of the busiest streets in LA and home to hundreds of successful restaurants. One thing's for sure, the location is not an issue. I'm about to find out what is.
He immediately began pointing out the issues that were holding the restaurant back.
Look healthy. That is dry, and they are disgusting.
Like many struggling restaurants on Kitchen Nightmares, The problems at Santa Brea were a mix of poor management, inconsistent food, lack of leadership in the kitchen, and the emotional exhaustion of a family trying to keep their business alive. Ramsey pushed them hard, trying to rebuild not only the restaurant, but also the confidence and discipline needed to run it successfully. But on the relaunch night, there was tension, as the head chef Aurelio threatened to leave.
Look, keep in mind what I say, okay?
What? What? I'm keeping in mind what I say, goddammit! Stop it!
Fuck out of my life. I'll do it. Next.
Because as seen, he was ill-treated and worse, wasn't even paid what he deserved. But Gordon paid him what he was owed out of his own pocket so he'd stay.
That's all you fucking care about. I'm not gonna give you a goddamn.
You owe me 140
bucks. Okay, here. No, come here. There's 100. Okay, the rest comes after service. Please. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Come here. Calm down.
At the end of that night, the food was served well and the customers seemed happy. And Gordon expressed hope that Santa Brea could succeed.
Trust me, this place definitely felt like a completely different restaurant from the one I entered when I first arrived here. Hey, each and every one of you cared, energetic, and more importantly, we didn't give up. Worked together as a team.
However, during Gordon's revisit to the restaurant in April 2010, he was shocked to hear that Dean had traveled out, leaving his sons to manage the business for a while. Not just that, more surprising news came when Chef Gordon found out that the restaurant had changed its staff too.
That's on.
This is incredible. God bless Los Angeles. You're joking.
According to the boys, the restaurant was doing well despite the recession. And to confirm that, Ramsey tasted their new menu items.
That sounds like a boss.
It feels great to just scream out and...
Last one.
But the improvements didn't last forever. Eventually, Dean and his sons decided it was time to move on to new business opportunities. So they sold the business, and Santa Brea officially closed its doors on June 1st, 2011, just 3 years after their Kitchen Nightmares episode aired. At the time that Santa Brea closed, it had an overall 3.9 star rating on Yelp, which includes reviews from both before and after their Kitchen Nightmares episode. While Santa Brea kept getting better until they decided to sell it off, the next restaurant had a very different story that shocked viewers. Terry and Carol Jenner were high school sweethearts, and they followed their dreams by buying Cafe 36, a fancy little restaurant. They believed their chef, Pinto, was great with his culinary skills, but the staff did not agree.
I think that Cafe 36 would be a better restaurant without Pinto.
Terry and Carol keep talking about how Pinto is so awesome, and everybody else knows Pinto really can't run a kitchen.
Because of this, their dream wasn't turning out the way they had hoped, which is why they finally decided to seek external help. And when Gordon Ramsay arrived, he immediately saw all these problems clearly.
And the plates look like they've been picked up at the local flea market. Or the dollar shop. No one will know what comes for lunch. It's taking this long.
From there, Gordon didn't waste any time, and just overnight, his team gave the restaurant a complete makeover by redecorating everywhere, creating a new menu, and a successful relaunch service.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Wonderful food.
Thanks. Yeah, worth the wait.
Here to Terry. Lively. Terry and Carol.
And it was Terry who made it happen.
By the end of that night, it looked like the restaurant had better days ahead. However, Cafe 36 closed in April of 2009, blaming it on the weak economy and some of Gordon's dramatic changes for hurting the business. These unrealistic reasons for the closure stirred up a blunt comment from a viewer that referred to the owners as lazy and unambitious. With the way Cafe 36 turned out, it was obvious that running a restaurant could be pretty hard, and success only comes when everyone works together and stays committed.